Hello, everybody. Here for the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series here for the Crown Jewel Racing League. Here at Gateway. A little bit of a unorthodox and abrupt start to the broadcast, but me, Christian Delgado, your main broadcaster here, had some other obligations I had to attend to. So unfortunately, I could not get the pre-race done, but we are here and we just got done with qualifying. So I guess we're just gonna jump right into it and get your starting lineup brought to you, presented here by High Velocity TV. So we do have some new faces to this truck series. Obviously, kind of a startup due to the VRS truck series shutting down. So Joseph Stafford going to be your pole sitter here at Gateway with Ryan Rose starting on that outside front row. See Garth Griswold on that 00 with Josh Stoles on that outside in that number 99 machine. See Zach Johnson in that 45 with Lucas Edwards back there on that in that P6 position. Sitting there in P7 is Jay Salmon with Corey Mott, your league owner, back there sitting there in P8. And rounding out your top 10 is going to be Richard Myers with Ryan Taft, rounding out the top 10. 11, Jim Mott with Joe Gibbons going to round out row 6. Row 7, Austin Runkle with Jonathan Ledger and that number 28 machine back there. You see him? Nice looking car for him. Sitting there in 15, 16, Mike Runkle with Cameron Albertson rounding out that row. And rounding out your field tonight, Bob Baker in that number in that P17 in that number 11. It looks like that's a Safe Life machine, and it is. So some pre-race ceremonies going down before we get these trucks rolling, and not the biggest field, 17 cars, but honestly, we are here at Gateway, one of the shorter style tracks, a pretty difficult track. You're really in any car you go to, on the NASCAR side, in the next gen, regardless of where you're going to, it's a pretty difficult track. So honestly, the smaller field size, not the biggest of deals. I feel like we're going to get a lot of good and clean and hard racing throughout the race. And obviously, as I talked about in the pre-race, kind of a new league that a new series that got sprung up through the Crown Jewel racing community. So this was our first season here for the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series. This series brought to you by THB Design. So go over there and check him out. A very good painter in the iRacing and sim racing community. So a huge shout out to THD Designs for coming on board and being a key partner here for the Crown Jewel community and sponsoring this truck series. I know a lot of people are bummed out that VRS kind of abruptly shut down. And just due to some changes that needed to be done within the league. So Corey and a bunch of the admins came together and said, hey, let's give these guys something to at least race with to get everything out and under control until we can figure out what we can do as a league to put stuff back together. But kind of an impromptu stream. I will be a lot more prepared next week, everybody at home. And I appreciate everybody coming out so abruptly to watch the broadcast. Kind of a tight schedule here on Saturdays for me and everybody here over in the High Velocity broadcasting booth over here in Central Kansas. So I'm glad that we have some viewers in here supporting the stream, supporting the league. The league's going through a little bit of a rephasing period. So I'm glad to see that there are still drivers here that come and support the league. Let's you still see these trucks parked here, right here across the start finish line. Just probably going over, a driver's meeting, making sure everything looks good and is good and fancy. Obviously, with the first, this being the first, race in this series, I imagine that there's probably some rules I need to be talking to, and maybe some guys who, need to figure out what they need to do. So it looks like 100 laps here at Gateway. A pretty quick race, you know. When Corey came to me about the league and getting everything started, as we see them start to roll off now, they said these are going to be a little bit shorter compared to those VRS truck races and everything else. So should be uh, pretty good and a lot shorter. So it's gonna, I feel like, cause some more aggressive driving and stuff like that. So I'm very excited to see what these truck drivers can do. Once again, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator for the Sportsman Truck Series. And I'll be here for all 8 races, all 8 weeks here, covering this little impromptu series. So glad to be here, and I'm glad to see everybody coming in here and supporting this league and giving everybody the love that they support. But excited to see what this series can put. I think it's pretty cool. For people that don't know, what the league does is actually spins a wheel just right before they put up the session, and that's how they decide what the track is. So there's no fixed schedule. Obviously, the way they have it is once you run a track, it gets taken off the schedule. So just in case, that way we're not running Gateway, you know, all 8 weeks. So now that Gateway is week 1, Gateway will not be run for the rest of the season, and we will move on. And obviously there's 8 different other tracks. I know Auto Club's on there, Old Daytona's on there, Dover's on there, I believe. So a big a mix of different style of tracks and everything. So super excited to see, you know, how that all comes about. We have 7 trucks here at Gateway Motor Speedway. The Worldwide Technology Raceway is the technical name, but everybody calls it Gateway. But we do see that number 57, Joseph Stafford, up there in the lead. We're going to take us to green. Let's look at your race weather before we go green. 68 degrees with a little bit of wind to the southeast, 4 miles an hour, so nothing to affect probably the way these trucks are going to handle. And a partly cloudy sky, so still a great night for racing here at Gateway. And I'm super excited. But 100 laps is going to go by quicker than you think. I mean, just a short track, it's going to go by quick. That's why they made these races a little bit shorter, a little bit more of a sprint race compared to this. It's also going to be a little bit more of a laid-back league, but you're going to see the pace car make that hard left turn on. And it's going to be the 57, and that's 58. That's going to lead us to the green here, and we are green from Gateway. Coming out of turn 4, the complete lap 1. Joseph Stafford gonna lead that first lap, going into lap 2. You see him starting to pull a little bit of a gap on stuff, and there's actually a little bit of a battle for this P5 spot. That's the 87 of Lucas Edwards and Zach Johnson, and that number 45 gonna battle it out for this top 5. You know, Gateway's an interesting track. It's gonna be a very line dependent. I feel like you're gonna see that throughout the race. I mean, you see everybody just trying to run in line and stuff like that, you know, and this is kind of where the track runs. There's not really a lot you can go to move around and find grip. It's just going to be about hitting your marks and finding, you know, that speed where that line is. As you see the 87 go a little bit wide, but you're going to see him arc it down, get a good exit off, and we have a caution out on the speedway. Like Bob might have had an issue. We'll take a look to see if maybe can find what happened to this number 11 machine. That looks like just going into the corner. Yeah, it looks like he hit the apron going in the turn. I think that's 3 and 4. Maybe that's 1. That is 1 and 2. My apologies. hit the apron, and after that, it's just super hard to save these trucks. I mean, they bottom out so easily with these short track setups. And around 11's gonna go, slide in the grass, up the track, and yeah, slam that inside wall. And I'll be a caution every time. And it's super easy to do that. Like I mentioned while we were waiting on everybody to get going, Gateway's a pretty difficult track to maneuver around here, not only in this truck, but I did a league race here in the Cup car not that long ago, and it was a tricky car. I don't know if these trucks are downshifting here, but in the next gen you are downshifting, and it makes it for it to be a pretty difficult track. Now I'm looking at this 57, and I don't know if it's the spec map on this machine, but the car almost looks like it's got like a glowing factor to it. I don't know if maybe that's a glitch in just the way that truck looks, because obviously it looks like it just has a base spec map on it compared to maybe like that 78 behind them. But that there's something different about that 57 machine, so that's pretty interesting. I've seen this happen in some other broadcasts that I've seen. Ben White, who broadcasts an ARCA league, I think had the same issue in the ARCA cars. So maybe a little bit of a lighting glitch with the nighttime stuff, but it definitely makes it look pretty interesting on track. But looking at any big movers, we do have one. That's Cameron Albertson in this 08. Up 4 positions from where he started back there in 16th position. So looking for him to maybe make his way up to the front. You see he started back here in that 16th spot. Now up here right outside the top 10 and 12th. You see he's going to start on the outside. No choose rule here for the Sportsman series. So wherever you are is where you're going to line up. It's not like how the VRS Truck Series was at the beginning of their season, where there was a choose rule and you could pick and choose between, 2 trucks. I mean, between 2 lanes. It's wherever you are is where you're going to start. So another big change that's different from this to the VRS series is it is a fixed setup. So they're just using the fixed, setup that iRacing gives everybody. There's no open sets. There's no anything else like that. So, it's going to be interesting. Now everybody's kind of on the same playing field throughout. But you will see that pace car take another hard left turn on the pit road. And once again, 57 in the 78 front row. Chevy lockout on that front row. And we're going to be green here to start lap 7. Another great jump by the 57, and it's really it's easy to get a good jump as the leader. I mean, you control the restart, you control the race, and really hard as the second place driver to kind of gauge where you want to go and where you want to put that truck to not, jump the start or give yourself a bad jump. And unfortunately, it's just really hard to gauge where you want to go with that. Let's take a little battle here for outside the top 5. You see the one of Corey Mott gonna make that inside line work and get around the 87 of Lucas Edwards, and put that one machine up to P6. The 87 trying to fight on the outside, not gonna really make anything else of it. Gonna tuck back behind Corey Mott. Another battle in front here. Garth Griswold under attack by the 45 of Zach Johnson. This is for the P4 position, and Zach not the best corner is. Oh, now here comes Corey to try to make a run at him. Corey, another driver who's starting to drive up through the field, up 2 positions from where he started back in the P8 position. You see a slow car back here, Mike Runkle. Slow. Looks like he's coming in the pit road. We'll go back to the race up here. Joseph Stafford continuing to lead the way and continuing to, pull away from the rest of the field. He's got almost a second lead on the rest of the field, and you might not think that's a big gap, but here at Gateway, I mean, you're running 33-second laps, and also you think, 33 seconds is pretty long for a short track like this, but just the way the track is, you really have these hard braking zones, and you really have to get this truck rolled up to get around this track. Let's actually go on board with your race leader. You're going to see how much you have to roll up this car. Actually, here, just Joseph downshifting in the corners here in 1 and 2. They're going from 4th to 3rd, and then back up to 4th down the straights. So I'm glad we answered that question sooner than later. I mentioned that you were downshifting in the Cup car, and it seems that you are as well in the trucks going in 1 and 2. Everybody's starting to get a little bit spread out. Looks like everybody's sitting single file. This little pack of 3, the 78, the 99, and 01 of Garth Griswold. Good run for him. Kind of have their own pack, and then further back, see Corey Ma and Zach Johnson. As you see some contact between 87 and the 67. A little group of 5, and this 87 continues to fall through the field now. As some more contact with the 86, Ryan Taft. Ryan trying to move up through the field as well, up 1 spot from where he qualified in P9 or in P10. So steady gains to that number 86 machine. But here comes Cameron Albertson starting to find his way through the pack. Up 6 spots, trying to make something work, and we have a battle. 11 machine looking pretty slow. That is Bob Baker. He's already 2 laps down, so they're going to try to negotiate around this lap car. You already see some front end damage from that first wreck, and Bob just trying to do everything he can to stay out of the way and let these guys go by. But you see a battle potentially ensuing here. The 67 all over the back end of the 67 all over the back end of the 87, but you see Ryan Taft behind the 67, ready to pounce if he makes a mistake. Maybe he makes a mistake trying to get back to the 87. Yeah, Zach Johnson just has not been able to find, Lucas Edwards, my apologies, has just not been able to really find the line here. You see him running a lot higher up than a lot of these other trucks are. And you figured if you run higher up, you might be able to arc it down, maybe get a better exit, but he just has not been able to. You see him? And now you're starting to see everybody start to get single file. There's still everybody within vicinity here, back behind the top 5, but no side-by-side action just yet. As the 87's gonna go around, and caution's gonna wave. We saw that happen right in front of us. Just take a look and see. It looks like just got a little too pushy on the gas and went around. See the 87 trying to lock it down, have something happen to it, and you see him hit that inside wall there out of 2. See if there's any damage on that machine. Yeah, you see a lot of left front damage on the 87. Not what Lucas was exactly probably expecting to do, obviously. But a long race, he'll have to take that Toyota down and try to get as much of that damage fixed down per road. And lucky for him, Even though this is considered a short track, uh, you don't really run. Um, it takes a long time for everybody to get around on their pacing, so it should give him a decent amount of time to fix some of that damage. I don't think that's a race-ending damage for him at all, and at any means. So hopefully he can get that fixed. To the 11 of Bob Baker getting his lucky dog. He's going to be down to 1 lap down. So I guess one person that did want to see that caution, and he got one. So going to go back down just to 1 lap down. Currently the first car 1 lap down is that number 11 machine. Only other car 1 lap down is the 44. That's Mike Runkle. You see some damage on his machine as well. See him blinking in and out a little bit. Some connection issues out of the Runkle machine. And we usually do this during the pre-race show, but we do have a segment where we're gonna pick our favorite to win this race. Our race picks here on the High Velocity TV channel, and just by looking at some of the guys out here, my pick is gonna be that number 99 of Josh Stoles. He's been up there in the top 3 all race, looking like he might have some pace. We'll see what Josh could do. He's been very consistent. I mean, started in the 4th up to 3rd and has kind of stayed there. So we'll see what he can do here. I mean, obviously a long race, and we're not even halfway done, not even a quarter of the way done here with this race. But 99 looks like he might have some speed underneath him. Not surprised. He was pretty quick in the VRS Truck Series with the open set, granted, but I feel like when you have talent, you have talent. Doesn't matter if you're on an open set or a fixed set or whatever. If you know the way around the truck, you can find your way up towards the front. Pace car's gonna come down pit road, and once again, 57, 87, 78 gonna lead us back to green. Once again, another pretty good jump by the 57, 78 of Ryan Rose. Also, a pretty solid jump, granted being the P2 car. Now a little side-by-side action for the P3 spot. That's the 00 and the 99. Griswold on the top, Stills on the bottom. Is 00's gonna clear. Further back, 44 trying to make a move on the 1. He's gonna try to use the top. This is the first time we've seen that anybody try to use the top to make it work. He's actually gonna get side by side coming at it too. Scratch that though. 1 will get the momentum off. I think with that contact, it made that 44 count, that 45 check up. Not trying to cause a wreck early in the race, and it's gonna allow the 08 of Albertson to look underneath the 45. Not gonna do it down the front stretch. But this 08 continuing to pick him up and put him down, up 9 spots now from where he started, back in that 16th spot. And he's continuing just to drive up to the field. Got around the 67 of Jay Salmon. And now trying to hunt down the 45. Corey Mott has found the back end of the 99 machine. Now Josh, maybe commentator's curse, starting to actually fall back to some of these other drivers. Maybe it's having a hard time getting around the 00, but you see some of these drivers start to catch up to this top 3. 99 trying to make the bottom work, but the double zero is just kind of running a little bit of a higher line, getting a better run off the corner, and it's just not allowing the 99 to really do anything with them. Oh, you see the double zero. Super sideways at it too. The 99 getting up to the tailgate of the 00. And man, he's really using up the rear end. Trying to stay in front of the 99. I think the 99 just a little bit quicker, but trying to be patient, not trying to put the bumper to Garth yet. Knows that he wants to try to race him clean and give him everything he can, but if he doesn't get past him, sooner or later, you're going to have Corey Mott trying to maybe capitalize on him. See the 99 now under fire from Corey Mott. Off from behind, Cameron Albertson still moving his way through the field now, side by side, going into 1 and 2 with the 45 of Zach Johnson. Back one of your BRI's Truck Series drivers, coming to do the Sportsman Series. He's going to clear the 45. I think the 08 just did not get the one he wanted. The 44. Slow on the track. Gonna try to let these guys by. But the 08 did not have a good set of corners. I think that last lap or two actually allowed the 67 to get around him. So was looking for P6. Now back to P8. I see the 67 of Jay underneath the 45 of Zach Johnson. So some contact. I don't know how well the 45 is going to take that like that. And now you see the 08 trying to make a move. So, the 45 is going to cut the nose off of the 08. I think the 45's had enough getting used up. Trying to keep that 08 behind him with the best of his ability. Oh, Cameron's quick. Already got around him once. Now trying to find a way back around him after having a couple bad corners and giving up a couple positions. Currently, I think this is your closest battle on track. Maybe another good one to look at is Corey Mott now under fire from the 67 Salmon. And Corey was putting the pressure on the 99 of Josh, but maybe he used up his equipment, maybe a little bit, or maybe just trying to save. You know, it's the hard thing to see. You know, when it comes to this, you know, it's either the polar opposite. Either someone's saving or they push way too hard and it's starting to fall back. It's two polar opposites, and it's very interesting to see when that happens. You see Garth just giving the spot to the 99. So Garth's going to drop back to the P40 spot, and Josh is going to take that bronze medal and be on the bottom tier of the pedestal. But with all that checking up, and Garth, now there's a big pack trying to run down this double zero. We're going to take a peek underneath and a look. Try to be side by side. The double zero is going to clear for now, but you're going to see once again, the one. Look again underneath. And the double zero is in a really vulnerable spot right now. I mean, he kind of was forced to give up the bottom, and now he's just trying to defend on the top, try to get a better run off the corner. The bottom is just a preferred line. We talked about earlier in the race that it's really a one-line track. You see the 01 defending to the best of his ability. You see him getting to the wall. It's kind of a one-line track. You really just want to paint the bottom here at Gateway, and it's super hard to, you know, run any other lane without kind of using up your equipment, using up your tires, and giving up time on the long run. You see the 00 doing a pretty decent job holding off the one car, but it's just it's starting to cause a bottleneck. You see the 67, that bright yellow 67, kind of stuck, nowhere to go. Hoping that either Corey gets past and can allow him to maybe make a move on the 00, or maybe Corey kind of move out of the way and maybe try to get him later down the race. Saw him get around to 44 once again of Mike Runkle. He's down to 10 laps down now. So not the race he probably wanted in his debut in the Sportsman Series. Still side-by-side battle for this P4 position. Neither driver is willing to give it up. And with doing that, it's just really allowed the guys in front to start to pull away a little bit. We're going to drive it into the corner. I think he will clear. Coming out of 4, and he will. Get the P4 spot to the 1 machine. You still see Garth all over the back end. Not going to give it up too easily. He's going to look top, wash up the track. Now that'll allow the 67 to go side by side. Oh, almost contact. And now here comes the 08. And make him move on to 67. And you're starting to see already, if you make a move like that, you have to make the pass, or you're going to put yourself in a pretty vulnerable spot to maybe lose a spot later on in that lap, or maybe in the next couple laps. Because now you see the 08 setting up the 67, trying to just drive it in and push a little bit harder to keep that P7 position. I think right now the 08 doing a pretty smart thing. I think he's just trying to pace himself. You saw there was an opportunity for him to go to the inside of the 67, but didn't really fight too hard to get back around him. I think the 08 is fine, just kind of running his own race and, you know, finding a pace and sticking to it. I think that's a pretty smart thing to do if you are trying to just save tires and kind of stick to it, right? Still a big gaggle of cars. Now you see the 00 trying to get around the 11. Lap cars doing their best of their ability to stay out of the way, and you got to give props to them, right? They could sit and run their line and force these lead lap cars to just kind of muscle their way around them, or pick a different line and be a really inconvenience to these drivers. But you see at least the 11, anytime someone gets around him, gets to him, he'll run the top and try his best to let them go in a safe manner. But props to the 11 and even the 44 Mike Runkle, the other lap car. They're trying to make it as easy as they can to let these guys go. Our closest battle on track, Ryan Taft, Cameron Albertson. As Ryan actually got around the 08. Maybe the 08 had an issue that we missed. And now you see the 86 up to the P7 position, and the 08 down to the 8th spot. You see him already trying to pounce to get around this 86 once again. No way, he's probably gonna clear down into here. Gonna force the 86 up to the top. No, 86 gonna fight. And clear at the finish line. No, props to Cameron for being patient, and you know, there's several times where a lot of these drivers could just use up someone and get on their way, right? But everybody's being pretty cordial and trying to pass them cleanly, right? We saw some beef back in the VRS Truck Series with people, kind of using each other up and not being very respectful. And I'm glad to see that people are being a lot more respectful. See a battle for the P5 spot. It's like Garth was getting caught by Jay, but Jay with the mistake gonna drop back to about almost half a second back to your P5 driver in the 00. Right now, your closest battle on track is this battle for the podium, where he's trying to find some pace in his truck and run down the 99 of Stolz. Stolz, kind of consistently up here, lowest of a fourth, so it's been up here in the top 5 all race long. So you're gonna see him continue to try to maybe cut into this gap in this lead, but it has a 6-second gap up to the leader. And then Joseph, we haven't really talked about him much. Just continuing to pull away from the rest of the field, continuing to run around the fastest laps of the race. Ryan actually kind of matched his lap time that last lap, a 4:30 to a 4:70. So maybe 78 doing a little bit better job saving the tires on the long run. 45 laps on these tires. And with only 100 laps, I'm not sure, but I would make a guess, an estimated guess that, or an educated guess that it can probably go all the way without pitting if it's 100% fuel. I'd have to look to see what the percentage of fuel is. Fuel level 100%. So I do have a pretty good feeling that they should not have to pit for fuel. If anything, tires. Do have a battle for the P5 position, I think. The 67 just got around the 00. The 00 slaps the outside wall. He's going to drop back to the 6th spot. The 67 starting to pull away. We have another battle. The 01 is starting to run down the 99. Seems like these two have been able to be separated from each other this whole race. Corey kind of being a little bit shallower on entry, and you see Josh kind of doing a little bit of a arc to get down at the corner and try to not be as shallow on entry. You hear Corey using and taking advantage of those downshifts down in 1 and 2, gonna upshift. We see him get a little bit wider than he probably wanted to on entry. Allow the 99 to pull away just a little bit, but definitely not not too far away that striking distance wouldn't be a thing. Zach Johnson down pit road. So he's going to split this race in half, because we have hit that halfway mark in this race. You see that 45 taking his car pit side. See that right side of the car get jacked up. Ryan Rose down pit road. So he saw the 45 come down and said, "Yeah, I'll follow suit. Let's come down and take ties. Let's split this race in half." See Jonathan Ledger up here and did the top 10. Good run for Jonathan and in that Big C's diecast machine. We can take a look at his position track right here. Lowest of 14th, up to the P10 spot, so slowly making his way through the field. See that Republic of Gamers on the back as well. Very nice looking truck. Now, Jonathan Ledger, one of the more outspoken and kinder people in the Crown Jewel community. You know, really likes to help people with their paint jobs and stuff like that, and making paints for everybody in the Crown Jewel community, and does a really good job at it. I mean, look at this truck you see here. Very, very good looking truck. But with the pit cycle, he is up to the P6 spot, but obviously he seems like everybody is gonna try to come down and pit and at least take some tires. See, Lucas Edwards maybe with a mistake down pit road. Yes, he did have a mistake. Not the race that 87 wanted. You see him get loose under the heavy braking to find that pace speed. You know, loop it around. It gets it turned back around. No harm, no foul. Just a little bit of extra lost time, which is very crucial. But, gonna have to take those losses and keep going. Ryan Taft P2 right now. One of the drivers who have decided to stay out. Josh Stolzby, race leader. See him also staying out a little bit later than the rest of the field. And we have a caution. See if we can find where that caution came from. The 67 of Jay Salmon just losing it. We'll go back and try to find this. Here we go. Just on cold tires. Just drives in a little bit too deep into 3 and 4. And he's going to loop that thing around. And that's a tough break for some of these guys who just pitted. Let me see the 00, the 1, the 08. They're all trapped a lap down. They will take the wave, but we'll have to start tail end of the longest line. Due to that, you see Austin Runkle a lap down. Jim Mott. I haven't talked about him a whole lot tonight, but he's also a lap down due to this. Lucas Edwards, we saw him have that mistake down pit road. He's a lap down. But some people did stay on the lead lap. I guess due to pace. And so that's a big... They have a big smile on their face. Ryan Rose, it looks like, gonna come up here and stay out, obviously. Josh Stolz and company gonna come down and take tires. You guys coming out the 93, Richard Myers. Haven't heard a lot from him. But that's exactly what he wanted to see. Gonna skyrocket his way up to 5th place. Ryan Taft's gonna be your 4th place driver. Josh Stolz in 3rd. Ryan Jones in 2nd. And Joseph Stafford in 1st. And these are the only 2 drivers who stayed on the lead lap from pitting. So they do have a 6-lap older tires than the guys who just pitted under this caution, but they do have the track position. I feel like they do have the faster trucks right now. At least that's what they're showing. And I don't think that 6 laps is going to mean a whole lot, especially at a short track. So it's going to be the 2 leaders here with 7-lap old tires in 3rd to 7th back there. Joe Gibbons going to have freshies, and then you see Corey Mott on back, who are going to have to take the wave around with at least, looks like 4 laps on tires. Looks like that's what Jay has, is 4 laps on those tires. And looks like the oldest tires, there's going to be Cameron with 10-lap old tires on that machine. The pace car take the hard left turn, and once again 57.78 and lead us again to start lap 59. Going to the Geico restart zone and give it to the 57. We're green once again. Another great jump by Joseph. Here comes Josh Stolz underneath the 78. Trying to take advantage of those new tires. Oh, Josh is going to get loose once again, as there's a wreck in the back. Caution's out once again. I think this is the area of what iRacing probably called. It's back here between the 45. As you see the 67J, yeah, just gets a little bit tight, gets into the back of the 45. 45 is going to spin it down into the grass, but keep it off any hard object. So good save by the 45. You see Jay lock it down. No more damage for him. Still see a little bit of damage from that wreck he caused, or that self spin basically. And he backed into the outside wall. You still see some damage from that, but obviously you didn't see him hit anything from this little incident with the 45 machine. So good for both those two to keep those cars, you know, off the track in a safe manner, not wrecking into anybody else. But that will bring out the caution on lap 60. I don't imagine seeing anybody coming down pit road. As everybody just pitted from that last caution, or we just had green flag pit stops. Looking at Cameron Albertson right now, the oldest tires in the field right now, 13 laps on those. Second would be Zach Thomas Johnson, and that 45. He just got caught up in that wreck. 11 laps on those tires, and then you had 2 race leaders with 10 laps on those tires, and then down the line we go 9 laps for Garth. Let's see, 8 for Lucas. Eight for Jay, who's coming down taking some damage. And then 4 for the majority of the guys who came down under that caution to pit. So with everybody splitting the race in half, you know that there's probably not going to be any more pit stops. So you know that tire wear is going to have to be a thing that you have to look at, and who can be out there. But you have to take a look at Joseph. I picked that 99 to maybe go up there and be a contender, but you saw him get loose and put himself in a pretty tricky spot. But you look at this 57, 54 out of 62 laps led, and then pretty much dominating this race. And the only other laps he didn't lead were, when he came down and pitted under green. But kind of got lucky that he had enough of a gap to where he was going to stay on the lead lap. And now, when everybody came down and pitted under that caution, we inherited the lead as he stayed out. And once again, the pace car is going to come down pit road. 57, 78. Once again, Chevy front row, Chevy lockout. And we're going to be green once again here at Gateway. Pretty decent job by the 78 to not let that 57 get away too much. But we do see some hard racing back here outside the top three. Like you're gonna make a move or trying to make something on that 8 machine. Gonna stay right behind them, but here comes the 87 of Lucas Edwards. Gonna make the top work and get around the 28, and here comes the 000 and the 45. I think Jonathan just trying to let these guys go. He knows that they're a little bit quicker right now, at least off the go. He's gonna let them go. He's trying to keep that truck clean, and good for him, right? To be patient and to know that, hey, these guys are just a little bit quicker than I am. Let's just let them go, and maybe we can get them back later in the run when they might have burned their stuff off. The Ledger down to P9, but still solid top 10 run for him as we speak. Is everybody single file once again? The 86 is gonna take a spin. Ryan Taft. See another driver just get a little bit too pushy with the throttle on exit. Gonna get that truck yacht out, and around she goes. And that's going to be a caution every day of the week. You said 86. No damage. Just maybe a little bit of a damage to pride. And maybe some damage to that tire wear. But you're going to see him get that truck up and going. You see that Outlaw Racing machine start to scoot on by. '66 complete here at Bristol, and we're going to take a quick break and let our partners over at iRacing share their words of advice.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Gateway Motor Speedway Worldwide Technology Raceway for the Sportsman Truck Series, presented by H Designs. Once again, huge shout out to them for being a key partner here for the Crown Jewel community and putting their name on the label here for this kind of impromptu truck series, and making sure that these guys have something to do while the league officials try to find what they need to do for their next chapter in this Crown Jewel community, right? We talked about it early in the show, how they kind of decided to shut down all the series due to some adminning troubles, and just some people just wanting a little bit of a break, right? They had a lot of series. They had a Cup series, Xfinity series, an ARCA series, the VRS Truck series. They had a Dirt series, a Dirt Feeder series. They had a bunch of stuff, so decided to run this and take a break. And everybody here at HVTV is super grateful for the opportunity to come here and broadcast. These are world-class drivers, but see the pace car take another hard left turn off, and we're gonna go in HVTV crank it up here as we go green once again. We return to action here. You see a great battle for this top 5 position. Everybody all up on top of each other. You see the 8, the 87, the 45. You even see Jonathan Ledger back there in 8th, trying to make a move. And I see Joe Gibbons in the 8 machine trying to do something. It's some contact between him and the 28. Side by side, that's the 99 of Josh Stolz. Trying to get around the 67. The 67 looks a little squirrely. Gonna save that machine. What a save. See him get side by side with the 28. 28's blinking a little bit. But no harm, no foul. See him try to make the pass. It looks like he will stick on the bottom. Will Ledger have a run on the top? He will. Side by side coming out of 4. Oh! 28 a little bit upset. Give it to the 99 at the line, but what a battle here for this P8 position. But you're starting to see kind of the urgency start to pick up. With only 27 to go. It's not a lot of laps left here at Gateway. Starting to see some guys get a little impatient, try to get back up to the field. See a battle for the P5 spot. 87 under attack from the 45. These are probably the slowest laps in the world for your leader of the fifth in that 57 machine of Joseph Stafford. Led practically every lap. He wants these things to go by as quick as he can. But these are probably some of the slowest 26 laps he's going to make. As you start to see, maybe the 78 try to stay with him here. These two have been really the top two drivers all race. No one's been able to get back up to him. Garth Griswold kind of on his own in third. But Richard Myers up 5 spots back there in the P4 position. Maybe he's going to have something for these leaders with 25 to go. To go back for this battle for the P5 position. Lucas Edward trying to hold off the 45 machine. We've seen that 87 not handling the best, at least Lucas's liking. Is now the 45 going to look to the bottom going into turn 1. 87 is going to kind of run that higher lane, get a better run off the corner. Got to keep side by side coming out of 2, and he will. Side by side. Ooh, pinching the 45 down. The 45 is going to have to lift. 87 is going to stay clear, but that's allowed the 99. Here comes Josh Stoles to make this a 3-way battle. Josh, they're currently P7, but looking at the battle, liking what he's seeing. He's going to try 3 wide. You see the 45 cleared 87, so back to 2 wide, and now the 99 is going to try to get around this 87 machine. Side by side out of 4. He's going to clear. Him now trying to pounce on the 45. See, he's moving through the field. A little bit of a bump to the back of the 45 machine. Gonna get side by side going into turn 3. A little bit of a slide job. Had to use him up a little bit, but he's gonna clear the 45, give the P5 spot to Josh. And he's starting to drive up through the field. Does he have enough time to even drive up to the 93 of Richard Myers? See Richard in the 4-shot in that pink front end. That's the guy who he's got to get to next to battle for position. But man, Josh Stoles is on a roll here. His caution's out. Cameron Albertson looks like had an issue. We'll go back and look at the HVTV replay to see what happened to this driver. I'm kind of get that car a little upset. It looks like coming out of 3 and 4. Yeah, super upset. Sliding the car around. Gonna keep it out of the wall, I think. Ooh, and then just trying to correct it. And he's gonna go for a slide across the start-finish line, and there it is. That's what's gonna cause that caution to come out. Just trying to yank it back and forth to try to keep that truck straight, and finally just loses it right across the start-finish line. And this is gonna be interesting now. We get a caution with 20 to go. This kind of opens the playbook open again. You see drivers come out and come down pit road. Maybe take some fresh tires. You see Jay down pit road. You see your race leader down pit road. Stafford right there. And I'm not sure who got that. Give it to the 67 of Jay. What a stop for that number 67 crew. Gonna jump up a couple spots at least. He's gonna jump your 2 leaders. Joseph gonna be second out of that pit road, and Ryan third, and Richard Meyer's going to be fourth. So now, if you're these two leaders up front, you kind of know that you probably didn't make the right choice. 25 and 22 laps respectively on your tires. Now it's just going to be out about how much defense you can play, even if you can play defense here. We're going to be going green with probably 17 to go. "17 laps at a short track doesn't seem like that much, but 17 laps at Gateway, you know, you're running about 30-second laps, and tire wear really does mean a lot. You know, on those old tires, they're running about 2 seconds off of you know, their best laps right now. Your race leader's current best lap at 33.4 on lap 83 for Ryan Taft. No, a 33.3 for Josh Stoles on lap 83. So, but you saw it. I mean, but at the end of those runs, they're running in the 35s. So almost 2 seconds a fall off towards the end of there. So tire wear is going to matter. But let's see how long these two leaders can hold on to this track position. So two new leaders, two new people restarting the race, a Toyota and a Ford front row. We get ready to go to the restarts, and we're going to hand this race back over to Barney. And we're going to be green once again. 17 to go at Gateway. A great jump by the 99, and the RDC, the 86 starting to take advantage of 3 wide, looking almost 3 wide. As oh, we got a wreck in the back. Lucas Edwards involved in this one. Looks like the 8 of Joe Gibbons also involved. And we'll take a look and see what happened. Take a look at that high velocity TV replay. You see the 87. Maybe trying to check out for the 45, maybe. Looks like the 45 just really took that corner a little bit shallow. Yeah, it looks like maybe just had to check up and kind of lost the rear end of that truck, maybe. That's exactly what it looks like. We'll speed it up a little bit here to see if we can kind of find it at pace here. Yeah, maybe a little bit of a checkup or something. Oh, you see that? I think that's Jim Mott. Get a little bit of piece of that. Looks like a little bit of a reaction to a checkup, and looks like you just maybe flipped the throttle a little bit too quickly. And then, once again, we've seen that a lot with people being a little bit too edgy on that with the throttle, and have a little bit of a lead foot, as they call it, and just stand on the gas a little bit too quickly, and you're going to see that rear end step out every time once you break that traction. And looks like that's what maybe would have happened to this number 87. He's going to unfortunately grab that 8 with him. Nowhere to go for Joe. It looks like not a lot of damage to that machine, so no harm, no foul. That's exactly what Josh wanted to see. Holding on to there. Ryan Taft holds on to that P2 spot somehow. I think it's just the way the timing and scoring is. It gave him that P2 position back. They're going to round out that podium, and Joseph, you know, kind of your dominant guy of the race. He's going to round out your Fast Four. See if he can get through these, you know, older tires and through that 67 to maybe reclaim this race lead and maybe come and try to race for this win once again. As I was going to try to talk to your race leader here, but we're going to go 1 to green. Not a lot of time. I don't want to distract these drivers from doing their job. So we get a caution again. We might talk to your race leader, maybe someone. I was going to talk to race leader Zach Stoles to see maybe what was his mindset about this. Obviously, As the older tires, gonna have to hold these guys off. Currently, 813 trucks on a lead lap. Corey Ma, we didn't see what happened to him, but he's 3 laps down with some damage. Unsure of how he got that damage. We lost media, I guess. Fortunate for Curry, he looked really quick today. Bob Baker 5 laps down. Austin Runkle and his dad Mike 8 and 18 laps down. So unfortunate for the Runkle family. Not the best race and not the best day here at Gateway, but there's always next week. Gateway's a difficult track, so you never know what can happen. And once again, 67-86 gonna lead us to green here. Chevy Toyota front row. So we're gonna hand the race back over to that number 99. He's gonna start us back here, going with 13 to go. So, oh, you see the 57 getting in the back of the 86. 57 trying to make a move here. Looks like 3 wide for that P3 position. Not quite. But you see the 57 get around. Oh, the 67 is going to get loose. Keep it on the wall. I don't know if that's going to be a caution. It will. Caution out. The 13 to go. And once again, Ryan Taft and Josh Stoltz has been able to hold on to this 1-2 spot. We'll take a look from a different camera angle. See what happened here. I don't know if he got some help. Maybe we can go to a par chase cam to see a little bit of a better view of this. No, just lost it all on his own. It's easy to do here at Gateway, especially in the turn 3 and going into turn 3. It's super easy to kind of lose the rear end. Not a lot of banking down there on the bottom, and if you drive it in, there's really nothing to catch you, like maybe at a Bristol, where if you drive it in, you can just let the banking and kind of slide up the track here. Here, especially when you're trying to, you kind of overdrove it and had to check up for the 57 and kind of had to walk it up the track, and unfortunately he ran out of track, gets into the wall, and caution will wave. Fortunate for the 67. He looked pretty quick. Looked like he has some promising speed, but now looking with maybe 11, probably going to back to green with 9 to go, probably. Maybe a little bit too little, too late. If he does have a set of tires back in there, maybe I would consider going down and taking him. He is 1 lap down currently. Sitting in pit road trying to get some of that damage fixed. You see him right there, that rear end all beat up and everything. He is currently 1 lap down, so I mean, if he's going to take tires, I'd take him now if he's got some. But Josh Stoltz, got to give the man his credit. But 16 laps since he's taken this lead over with this strategy, has not given it back up, and really everybody racing aggressively to get back to these 2 leaders have continued to let him stay out in front with these cautions and stuff. See what happens with this pace car, if the lights will turn off. The lights are off on the pace car. These drivers side by side lined up. You see that Ford Toyota front row once again. You see the pace car get ready to pull off and let these guys go to green with 10 laps, well, with 9 laps to go, under 10 laps to go here at Gateway. So this race has gone by quick, but still some exciting racing still getting ready to happen. And it's going to be interesting to see, can these 2 guys on old tires continue to survive and keep this track position? be kind of a Cinderella story for some of these guys like Ryan Taft. If he can do something with this track position. See the pace car take that hard left turn off. And we're going to be back green once again. Another good jump by the 99. And you already see the 57 getting clear of the 86. And the 57 already looking at outside the 99. Oh, Ryan Taft loose. No caution yet, as the caution comes out now. And the Cinderella story for Ryan Taft may be over with that incident there, as we saw it in the background shot. See, Ryan kind of really drove it into the corner, trying to keep up with that 57 with his newer tires. And tried to just drive it off the corner. And when you're on 30 lap old tires, I mean, it's just not gonna stick the way you probably want it to. And it's gonna lose it. Gonna take out the 00. Griswold with him, and a huge hit to the 00. Huge damage to that 00. I don't think Ryan got any damage from that besides a little bit of rear end damage that he might have already had. But a huge hit for that 00. Garth, there's nowhere he could go. Nothing he could do. Just wrong place, wrong time, unfortunately. But I guess if I'm the 86 now, might as well come down, take some tires. While you got him. We'll see if he decides to do that. Did you see the 86 down Pay Road? Do some a little bit of scuffing on that 86 number. Really a relatively pretty clean looking truck besides that rear end damage. You see him overshoot his pit box just a little bit. You have to back it up. And you see the right side lift up on that truck. Your left side's up. And now Ryan Taft will be coming out with the freshest tires. Now we probably will be going to green with 5 to go. And I'm unsure how many green white checkers that are allowed here. I'll definitely look into that while we're under caution. See the 01 of Corey Mott pull into his box as well. So I don't see anything about a green white checkers in here, unfortunately. That's rough on the pace car. And now I feel like this is a spot where Joseph can really take it, start to take advantage and get back to the lead, dominate the race, and go on and win this race like everybody expected him to. You know, I don't really know what Josh can do with now 35 lap old tires. Maybe another Cinderella story gonna go to the hip side. He really needed some more caution laps to give him a shot, but I mean 35 lap old tires, I mean 25 lap older tires is, I mean, there's only so much you can do. I mean, especially when you really weren't the fastest truck. That 57 who's leading the race now is arguably was the best truck of the field. But now it might be a battle between that 78 and that 57 now that he's got him in grasp. But we're going to be going to green once again with 5 to go here. A little 5-lap shootout. We're green once again. Pretty decent jump for the 78. Getting around the 99, and now the 99 just has to survive there. See, shuffling back there for the P5 position. Maybe a P6, P7 now. Now it's going to be between the 78 and this 57. Can the 78 get to this race leader? Does he have anything in the tank left? Kind of even that lap. A 33.9 to a 33.86, so a little bit quicker for Ryan Rose in that number 78 machine. But with 3 to go, I mean, he's still definitely in striking distance. Battle for the P3 spot starting to heat up. Josh is starting to get caught by these guys with fresher tires. Can he hold on to claim this last podium spot? And a 93, Richard Myers get around Lucas Edwards. Think about how can this 99 keep these guys behind? 2 to go here at Gateway. 78 still trying to hunt down your race leader. Still within striking distance. You see the 87 in the back get a little squirrely. Joseph Stafford starting to extend the gap a little bit as he comes out of turn 4. One more time at Gateway. 1 to go in the Sportsman Truck Series. Does the 78 have anything left in the tank? Does he have anything else that he can do to get to this, to your race leader? See him driving in super hard into 1 and 2. Even going down the backstretch. Wrecking the back. We'll look at that after the race. Coming into 3 and 4. 78's going to drive it in. But I don't think he's got anything. And coming out of 3 and 4, Joseph Stafford. A dominating win. And he's going to come in to pick up his first win in the Sportsman Truck Series at Gateway. I saw the 45 around. Let's go ahead and take a look at that before we see the race winner go down and burn it down there at the start finish line. Looking at the last lap here. Is oh man. You see the 93 driving in super deep. Into the back of the 45. You see the oh man. A lot of wrecking back here. You see the 45 get hooked by the 87. Backing into that out dent. And just a lot of calamity. You can see the 45 just going to have to stop. Unfortunate end for him. Had a pretty decent run going. But unfortunately, not good enough. We have maybe lost your race leader here, so I don't know if he's going to do any burnouts for us. Maybe scoring has ended for us, but we'll go ahead and get ready to talk to your top 3 podium finishers. But we will get a word from you. Once again, our partners over here at iRacing. So once again, stay tuned, and we'll get ready to talk to your top 3 and finish off and look at your unofficial results brought to you by High Velocity TV. But we'll be right back after some words from our friends over at iRacing. Welcome back to the Sportsman Truck Series here for the Crown Jewel Racing League. As we're gonna get ready to talk to you top three finishers here from Gateway. As we're gonna go and talk to your P3 finisher, and a heck of a battle and a heck of a statement here. And go talk to Josh Stoltz and the number 99. Hey Josh, it's Christian up here in HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, kind of had a different strategy call for you. Stayed out on those older tires. So, walk me through that race and walk me through what was going through your head. Those last couple of late race cautions, knowing that you kind of had to fend off those guys on those fresh tires.
So the that wasn't really a strategy call. That was iRacing taking my right side tires when I was coming in to fix my damage. So I was kind of SOL there. But I mean, as long as I kind of I know how to save my tires well enough. So as long as I'm able to stay close to the front, I'll be fine.
Yeah,
But,
I never even thought to think of accidentally taking tires, and it's a common thing that happens a lot in the sim where you have them unchecked and iRacing still takes them. Same thing happens sometimes with the fasty, but looking back at those restarts, knowing that you had the oldie tires, what was going through your mind? You obviously you had the jump as the race leader, but knowing that you had like the 57 and the 78 and all those guys behind you with those fresh tires.
yeah, with the restarts, my goal was pretty much just try and catch the people behind me sleeping. So that's why I was kind of changing it up a little. I would go late, go like middle of the box. I'd go early, just kind of change it up so they couldn't really guess it. And then I mean, it just kept working out for me because unfortunately people just kept wrecking in the back. But I really enjoyed that very very long run at the start. That was really really fun.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by that as well. Gateway, I talked about it in the pre-race. Kind of one of the more difficult tracks that we're going to go to here in this little short series that these Crown Jewel guys made. Um, Pleasantly surprised to see you guys, stay green. Obviously not the big truck counts that we're used to seeing back maybe in the VRS days, but definitely very pleasantly surprised to see, a long green flag run at a track like this.
Yeah, this track's always difficult, pretty much with anything, just because of how different one and two is from 3 and 4. Not even just from the size, but the banking as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Covered about that as well. Anywhere we go here, any car, it's difficult. But going back to the handling, you talked about it being difficult. We saw a lot of drivers, getting a little upset, and looking at it too. Is that you think maybe a setup thing, or maybe was that just with it being night and maybe the track a little bit slick?
That would be a iRacing thing, just because the tires aren't really the greatest overall, as well as kind of because that was the big one that I was the cause of. I'll admit it, I was the cause of it. Kind of, I was off the throttle and it just hooked on me. There's nothing I could really do there. I was rolling off and it just kind of went the second I hit the asphalt. But like with it, there's like late in the run, tires kind of felt better in my opinion. They weren't definitely was not faster, but it built tight is what kind of what I liked. But it like cold tires on a restart, it was just try not to loop it coming out of two.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of people are having trouble with that, and that's as you said, iRacing. There's been a lot of complaints about the tire model and how it needs to be fixed, but obviously they have a lot on their plate, a lot of customers that they have to abide to. So definitely not surprised to hear that answer. But before we let you go, Josh, anybody you want to thank for this podium spot? Any sponsors, fans, friends, or anybody maybe watching the broadcast at home?
I want to thank the admin or Corey, Garth, Zach, all the other admins for kind of putting this on while we were on our little hiatus. Penguin RC for the sponsor of the truck. 73 Creative for painting my beautiful paint, most of my beautiful paint schemes, as well as Simcar. They just finished their current season. so kind of on a hiatus for that as well. But it's probably one of the best GT3 leagues out there, in my opinion. And obviously, you guys for uh, being up there in the booth.
Well, we definitely appreciate the kind words and appreciate all that. But we're gonna go ahead and let you go up and celebrate, get ready, prepare for whatever you need to do. And once again, congratulations on that P3 finish, and maybe we can talk to you next week.
Thank you.
That was your P3 finisher of Josh Stoles and the number 99 holding on for that last rung in the podium spot. But we are going to talk to your P2 finisher, Ryan Rose, if we can find him. Hey, Ryan, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Well, not close enough, but you're so close to coming home with the victory here at Gateway. But you know, it seemed like you and Joseph were kind of the top two guys to beat there. Came in during that caution, got those sets of tires, and got around some of those guys who stayed out either on strategy or just ran out of tires. But walk me through your race and walk me through maybe what else you needed to do to maybe get around that 87 machine.
Yeah, I it sucks with that caution there at the end, with those like series of cautions, because I felt like if I gotten through the traffic a little bit better than Joseph, I maybe would have had something for him. But he was really quick on like long run, short run. I couldn't do really anything for him. If I was better, I could have passed him. But you know, I'm but yeah, it was a fun race. I love Gateway, and yeah.
Yeah, I talked about it with Josh right before we talked to you, but we saw a lot of, you know, issues out of two. And he had tested it was due to kind of the sim with how the tire model works, but just wondering what your opinion on that was. It looked like a lot of people were just getting really upset and sideways out of two.
Yeah, it was because that's the only corner where you have to where some people were like downshifting and messing with gears there, so it was kind of difficult with wheel spin on exit especially. I felt like he could get through 1 and 2 a lot better than I could the whole race, and then 3 and 4 I could get through a little bit better than he could. But yeah, if I was able to get through 1 and 2 a lot better, I think I would have had a lot more for Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like Joseph might have been the guy to beat, and obviously came home here victorious. But yeah, still a really good run for you. You know, I would ask looking into next week, but with the way the you guys are doing this here with the random wheel spin, we don't really know where we're going next week. So, but is there any tracks maybe you're looking forward to that you know that is going to be on the schedule?
I really haven't even looked at the wheel spin or anything. I saw that Dover was on there. I like that place a lot. I'm not the best at it, but I like that place. And like some of the mile and a half, I'm a little bit better at. But yeah, I haven't really looked too much.
Yeah, Dover's obviously a really good track. It's a really racy. It's a driver's track in my opinion, especially in that truck because highway is going to be a key, just like it was here at Gateway. And then obviously the mile and a half is super fun with how these trucks race it. But before we let you go and let you celebrate with whatever, anybody you want to shout out? Any friends, family, sponsors? Anybody you want to shout out for this P2 finish?
Yeah, just my mom, my dad, Brett's Electric. They help me out in real life a little bit with a little bit of real life racing that I do. But yeah, I think that's it.
Once again, Ryan, congratulations on that P2 finish, and looks like you might be a favorite to be up here running if you can keep this momentum up. But maybe we can talk to you next week, maybe in victory lane, but at least you're in the top 3.
Yeah, thank you.
And that was Ryan Rose, your P2 finisher here at Gateway, and we'll see if we can find Mr. Stafford here, your race winner, and we can talk to him. Hey Joe, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, got a copy. How you doing?
I'm doing well, probably not as good as you, but you know, a pretty, I would say, dominating win here. You know, you came out there, took the lead away, didn't you know, well, didn't really take the lead away. You started on the pole, so uh, really the only time I feel like you gave up the lead was during those green flag stops, where unfortunately we got that caution in the middle of it. But we saw some guys kind of mix it up on the strategy there with about what 25-30 to go, and you were able to drive through the field and we claimed the lead with that with what around 10 to go there. So just walk me through that race and walk me through, what it took to actually get around some of those guys with those oldie tires.
Yeah, yeah, throughout the race, I was just trying to keep my tires under me, and you could really work your right rear or you could work your right front if you're driving in too deep or if you have a heavy foot off. So I was just trying to keep them under me, and Ryan was doing a good job of making me eat up my tires and keep them behind me. He kept me on my toes all night, and yeah, strategies changed. The caution came out, and it was a lot of fun though, trying to get back up to the front. And yeah, everyone did a really good job. Was really respectful racing as I was getting back up to the front. Um, yeah, it was a good race. Ryan just kept me on my toes the whole time. During those restarts, I was trying my hardest not to let him clear me, or at the very least, just go side by side. Even if we had to go three wide with someone, that was just my goal, just to stay on the side of them, because that was my only hope. Because I think if Ryan got past me, I would have been kind of doomed. Um, he's a great driver. Hopefully, we have many more battles throughout these races. This is a great league format. I've never been a part of like a wheel spin, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, thanks to Corey for letting me be a part of this one. Um, yeah, and hopefully there's more racing and more good battles.
Yeah, speaking of that wheel spin, I asked Ryan about this and he didn't really look into it as much. But if you have looked at the list, is there any track that you see that maybe is, the thing you circle on the calendar for what you're looking forward to for a track? Obviously, we don't with the wheel spin, we don't know when we're gonna get those other ones. But is there anything you really do have circled on the calendar as one that you think you'd have another good shot at coming out here and winning?
Uh, uh, honestly, this was the track I didn't want, so I'm thankful we got it out the way, I guess. If I had to pick a track, probably Dover because it's my hometown track, I guess, or the closest track to me. But I'm looking forward to Daytona 2008. That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You don't really see a lot of leagues in general, except maybe like some old Gen 4 leagues, which is really cool to go
Yeah,
to Lumpy Tona as we call it. So it's definitely
yeah,
going to be exciting to see, how these trucks handle the bumps and everything else.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just want to shout out my mom and dad for watching and always supporting me every night whenever I'm in a league race or doing whatever. And shout out to Chester Water Authority for supporting me for sim racing. It's really unbelievable to me, and I can't thank them enough.
Yeah, it's always super cool to have the fam or whatever come and support and have just supporters overall, right? And it's super hard to
For sure.
yeah, it's a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to wheel these things around on the track. So super cool to see you know you guys getting the support from friends and family and having people come in and watch and tune in the broadcast.
Yeah, thank you for broadcasting this as well.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, we couldn't do without you guys putting on a good show. If you guys don't put on a good show, we can't put on a good broadcast. So definitely couldn't do without you guys. But
Yes, sir.
I guess you kind of did all your shout outs. So I guess I'm just gonna drag you out and let you celebrate with and do whatever you need to prepare for next week. But like you said, the one track you kind of didn't have circled on the list, you come out and win. So maybe we can see you next week here in Victory Lane next week.
Hopefully.
All right, you have a great rest of the night.
Yeah, likewise.
That was Joseph Stafford, your race winner here, and a dominating win for Joseph. That's all I can really say about that. Came out there, got the pole, led. We can pull up this lap sled. 82 of 101. You saw, Josh kind of steal away some of maybe those lap sled that you expected Joseph to come out here and lead, but no. Sounds like Josh kind of got screwed over by the uh, iRacing taking tires when it shouldn't. I'm not sure how that whole debacle goes down, but still, once again, a good recovery for him to come back and get a P3 after having to hold on. But we'll go back and look at your unofficial race results here, brought to you by High Velocity TV. Obviously, we just talked to your race winner, Joseph Stafford, Ryan Rose, and Josh Stoltz. Your P3 finisher. Cameron Albertson coming back to a P4 finish after getting caught up in a couple of wrecks. Really good recovery for him. Jonathan Ledger, top 5, great run for him. There's been a lot of times where he's gotten caught up in unlucky wrecks and everything else. So super cool to see Jonathan up there. Richard Myers P6, Jim Mott, really good run for him. Up here in the top 10. Ryan Taft recovers to a top 10. Joe Gibbons P9 and Lucas Edwards P10. Garth Griswold, we saw him get caught up in that wreck towards the end, along with Zach Johnson. Corey Mott, we saw him a lap down. We did not catch what gave him damage, but unfortunately, he seems like maybe a top 3 driver. Bob Baker, 5 laps down. Austin Runkle, 8 laps down. Jay Salmon, 11 laps down after getting caught up in that wreck towards the end there. And Mike Runkle, Austin's dad, going to round out your field here at Gateway. But besides that, everybody, I appreciate everybody for coming out, watching the broadcast, and being a part of this. And once again, thank you to everybody over with the Crown Jewel and Corey for reaching out and having me broadcast this impromptu series. I will be definitely a lot more prepared for next week. It just everything came together super quickly, and we'll definitely be a lot more prepared for next week. But once again, guys, thank you guys so much for coming out and watching the broadcast. We'll be back next week for this Sportsman truck series, brought to you by BH Designs. So be sure to, if you're not followed and following or subscribe to the YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you'll be notified anytime we go live for the broadcast. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you guys next week for some more truck racing. Hope everybody has a great rest of the night, and we will see you guys next week. Good night, everybody.